Why don't men approach women anymore? Because women told them to stop. No drinks, no compliments, no hi. Men listened. Then came Me Too. It started with real issues, but quickly turned into a cultural weapon where one bad date could ruin a man's life. Normal guys suddenly became threats. You record men trying to talk to you. You mock them on TikTok. You call them creepy for complimenting your dress. You screenshot DMs and you make them go viral. Congratulations, feminists. You killed real world flirting.
That's exactly the point that men are getting to. You guys are doing some silly stuff. Feminism, all of this nonsense. A man literally can't hold a door open for you without you getting offended. A man literally cannot step in without you getting offended.
You happy? Now the same women ask, where did all the real men go? They're in red states. They're in matchmaker circles. There's literally a whole movie, Materialists, with Dakota Johnson on this right now. They're saying it's not worth the risk. Even traditional families, white, Christian, Jewish, Indian, are moving towards arranged marriages again. Why? Because modern dating is toxic, expensive, and dangerous for men. You told men to leave you alone. They listened. Now you're mad? Sorry, not sorry. Too late. I'd love to know your thoughts. I know this is a very controversial topic. It was when I posted about it last time, but let's talk. Share your thoughts below, if I'm right or if I'm wrong.
Well, I think it gives men some sort of guarantee, right? Everything in modern dating now is up in the air. If a man takes a woman out to dinner and he pays $400 or $500, it's still up in the air if she's going to like him. The man could bring her flowers, drive her down there in an Uber Black, and that would be the bare minimum. And she's saying, well, I didn't like him, but if a man that I don't like would do all of this for me, then I'm not settling. The man that I like is going to do all of that and more. That's crazy work. I mean, the dude in the back is just casually looking at his phone. Like, the fact, if you're looking at the background, that dude is in the background talking to somebody else. This dude is on his phone just chilling, and I see another dude back there. Everybody's in the club or whatever that is, just doing their thing. I don't think you doing this is a problem. I think it's an issue when men try to come up and they try to catch the vibe. Oh, she's crazy. She's fun. Let me try to get in on that. What are you doing over here? Just trying to have a good time. Just trying to catch the vibe. That's when y'all run into issues. But you dancing and acting silly like this, I don't think men are going to have take any offense to that.
I'd love to see this study. Now, I don't know if this is true or not based off the comment, but if it is true, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's a combination of many factors: COVID, technology, isolation, loneliness, all the things that probably have contributed to this statistic. But now that we have the awareness, how can we encourage people to approach others in a kind, respectful way? I think fear is really what holds us back at the end of the day. So how can we encourage people to not let fear get the best of them and to shoot their shot in life? And this can go with romantic relationships, but even platonic ones. A lot of people complain how it's so hard to meet new friends and make new friends. But how often are people actually putting themselves out there to initiate the start of a friendship when that friendship is not from a shared social circle or just matter of convenience and proximity? We need to start approaching other people in a kind, respectful, and easy way. After all, we're wired to be social creatures.
If a man could comfortably come up across pretty much 90% of all interactions and start off with, hello, how are you? I think that would go a long way. If y'all had a set rule of, hey, if you're this kind of guy, 90% of the time this is going to work. If you're this type of guy, try this approach. 90% of the time this is going to work. But nowadays it's, hey, walk up to a woman and compliment her on this or this. And a man tries to go over there and he tries to do that and he gets shamed. And not only does he get, it'd be one thing if you said, no, thank you, I appreciate it though. But modern women are thinking that they're 10s. Their egos are inflated. And so they're turning around and responding like that. Even without them saying, don't approach me, you have women on here talking about, oh, look at my Hinge dates, or look at my Hinge likes. Oh man, I look at these and think, am I ugly? They're saying that I'm compatible with this guy. It just ruins my self-esteem. A guy's gonna hear that and be like, man, maybe I'm not for her. I think I'm gonna leave it alone. I want to run the risk of her trying to blast me on social media.
Why do men in the gym feel like they can't approach women in the gym? Like, what's going on? I heard some gym bros saying it's automatic law that you should not approach a female in the gym. I don't want nobody who don't go to the gym. So that's why we really got to address this issue, because if you're not a creep or you got good intentions, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to approach a female at the gym. Yeah, I have my moments when I'm in my zone, but like if you see me on a break and you want to tell me I look good or that you see them gains, like do that. Worst case scenario is I say hell no, and then we end up gym bro, gym sis for life. You know what I'm saying? I think nowadays men are too fragile, too afraid of rejection. Approach the gym girlies. Approach the gym girlies. If you're not a creep, it's okay to approach us, okay?
Well, you're saying if you're not a creep, which is largely based on how you feel. And sometimes it's not even overall, it's based on how you feel right then and there. You might have just stubbed your toe, literally right then and there. And a man comes and approaches you. Get the heck away from me. Look like you were fine. I was just coming to say hi. I don't want you approaching me. You're upset because you stubbed your toe, but you're taking it out on the man. This is what men encounter at the bar, at singles events, and y'all wonder why men don't want to be involved in that type of stuff anymore. Men are not approaching because women get online, set up tripods, and record themselves talking about how men are creeps, and the man is literally over there trying to get some weights. I'm thinking about the woman who was recording in the gym. She was doing her little, whatever you call those things, and a woman now, we're talking about a woman, came in the frame trying to get some dumbbells. She never even turned her back to look at the camera. She never even faced the freaking camera. And the woman got mad. Why are you in my space? You just gotta stand right there, stupid. Lady, it is not your gym. It isn't your gym. You're in everybody else's space. That's why men don't approach anymore.
In case you're still wondering why men today don't approach women, why men today are more nonchalant and don't really care to put the effort into relationships, why men today want princess treatment, it's because of this. Because a lot of women today have reduced men down to just a number, just to this thing that gives them attention. And so why would you, like if you put yourself in a man's shoes, why would you invest time, money, energy, emotions into somebody who just a couple of weeks after you guys end things is just going to go find someone else to give them attention and be over it? Let's be clear, I am a huge advocate of men still being men, of men approaching women, of men initiating the dates and putting effort into the relationship and pursuing the woman. But I also like to give a man's perspective of all the shit that he's exposed to every single day on the internet, of women saying stuff like that video. Then even in the comments, and you see women saying, don't actually want to be with a man, I just like the attention. Me reaching out just to ignore him so I can get my power back. I think I just need someone to fixate on, honestly. So it's like you have to put yourself into their shoes and think they're seeing these videos and all of these comments every single day. And not only that, but then they're experiencing it in their dating life in real time. And so you can't really ask yourself the question anymore, why are men acting the way they're acting? It's pretty obvious. I always like to say this, okay? If you're a man, do not allow the shitty women to turn you into the type of man that can't attract a good woman. Because there are good women out there. But if you end up treating them poorly because of your experience with the bad ones, you're going to repel all the good ones and be left with only the bad ones.
Dude in the comments says, once you realize that women view men as completely fungible, you will never want to invest your time or resources into women ever again. What does that mean? It means she can replace the guy with another model that's equally tall or white with fluffy brown hair, and it wouldn't make a difference to her. Whereas with men, we view the unique woman as special. Exactly. Men are out here running races and not like literal races, but I'm running the race to try to get the money that you want. I'm trying to build the lifestyle that you want, and it's still not enough. You'll still replace me. Like he said, once you realize that these modern women are viewing you as completely fungible or replaceable, that's essentially what that means. Why would I continue to run so hard? Why would I continue to exert energy that I don't need to exert on a woman that doesn't even like me? Why would I continue wasting money on somebody that's here to waste it? They're here to waste my money. All of that they get, I pay you a little bit for your hair and your nail. Okay, go do something nice for yourself. Then I see you 30 seconds later on TikTok talk, yeah, see what I did? Look, oh, this is how you get these men to spend money on you, and I ain't giving it up yet. Really? You really think a man wants to see that? You really think that outside of a man seeing that, that's the way they go about a relationship? Yikes.
I had to tell a man the other day, and I was really respectful. I said, sir, please don't call me beautiful. And he's like, so, don't show you respect in any way. Don't call you queen. I said, don't comment on my physical appearance. And
this is what men have to deal with. She's literally online recording a video like this. Why do you think that you sound like you make sense? Why do you think that he commented? He said, I'm beautiful. And I said, don't comment on my appearance. What? Why do you think it's cute to say? This is what I'm talking about. If we can get a baseline on what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, I mean, this is just flat out stupid to me. But if we can get a baseline on, oh, you're this type of man, approach like this. You're this type of man, approach like that. Then you'll see a lot of men out here approaching, a lot more men approaching than what they do now. But as it stands, when y'all come up with dumb stuff like this, why would he waste his time? Why would he waste his brain power?
I think men these days are not as willing to be rejected or take a risk. Men aren't really approaching.
I hear this from women.
Men are not interested anymore. You notice there's not videos of men begging, wondering where all the women are. No, it's men aren't really that interested in dating and approaching women anymore. They're just hanging out with the bros, getting drunk, having fun, going back home, beating their meat, and continuing on to another day. But what's so crazy is that y'all keep asking, why are men not approaching? But then all you do is want to insult them for not approaching. It's they could be minding their own fucking business, and y'all are insulting them because they're not making y'all the center of fucking attention. That's wild to me. That, y'all said, hey, guys, we don't be so lustful. Men are men told men, stop being lustful. All right, cool. Men got the word. Men stop being lustful. They're just cool. They were just hanging out doing their thing. Now it's where's all the men at? A lot of y'all got the attention you were getting because men were being lustful. Men are not being lustful, and y'all are but where aren't they approaching us anymore? But you notice it ain't men going, where's all the hoes at? We see where y'all are at. We know y'all are at. And shockingly, STD rates are sky high. Who are y'all fucking? If the men aren't approaching, who are y'all fucking and keep spreading shit?
I think that's really what it is, the validation. Men aren't making these modern women the center of attention. You're no longer, it's not that men don't care about you, it's just that their attention isn't on you. They don't prioritize you. And that's what modern women want out of a man. They want a man to prioritize them, which is fine. It's just that what they mean by priority is obsession. You're obsessed. You're stalking the girl in a healthy way. You see how weird that sounds? You see how crazy that sounds? Oh, well, he's so obsessed with me. He's got to know exactly what I'm doing all the time at every single hour. And he just buys me things. He just, without anything in return. And they'll brag about this. I haven't even given it up. I haven't given him anything. I'll go for days without giving him anything. And he just still continues to give me whatever I want. Men are saying, you know what? Instead of me sitting up here begging for the bare minimum from my freaking wife, I'm going to go take care of myself, hang out with the bros, play a couple video games, go to the gym, call it a night. Most men are not going to have a problem with this. This is how you know that modern women are out of touch. I wonder why men aren't approaching me, but then I dress like this. Your dress is literally not the problem. It's literally not the problem. Your attitude is. If modern women can just get it through their head, their attitude is the issue in like 90%, let's say 80% of interactions, I think we're going to get somewhere.
Why don't men approach women anymore? Have you noticed this happening? I mean, I have not because I've been married for 10 years, but I'm getting this question all the time from the women that I work with. And here's my take on it. My take is that you are not being approached by men because you are unapproachable. I don't think that it's something that's in the water. I think that women need to have a little bit more compassion and understanding for what men go through. Men being the ones who have to put their ego aside. They're the ones expected to just go up to a woman, strike up a conversation, run the risk of rejection. We're all terrified of rejection. That's a whole other topic. If you want him to approach you, you have to be approachable. At least send over the signals that he will not be rejected. He will not be made to feel like a complete fool and loser if he comes up and tries to talk to you. So make eye contact, smile, have open body language, just be warm. That's all you need to do. You can also go up to him and start talking to him. We're so scared to show interest. If I show interest, it's gonna scare him away. No, that's not what's scary. Being needy and desperate is off-putting. Going up to someone, striking a conversation, that is not scary. That's not gonna put off a guy who is interested in you. Now, you shouldn't be doing all the work. You shouldn't go up to him and then ask for a date and then start planning the date, ask for his number, ask for the date, start planning. No, because then he's going to feel like, hey, why is she being so aggressive? This is a little bit too much. You have to leave some space for him to like do something. All you really need to do, men chime in the comments, but I think that they're all going to agree with me. You have to make yourself more approachable. The end. And if this is hard for you, it's probably because you struggle with your self-worth and confidence. So I would highly recommend checking out my new book, Detached: How to Let Go, Heal, and Become Irresistible. We also talk a lot about overcoming this fear of rejection that is so dominating for so many of us. Okay, I hope this helps. Make sure to follow me for more.
I mean, I think you said it maybe about halfway through your video. He can approach, but he'll only approach if he's not made to feel like he's a loser. He's not made to feel like he's... I don't understand. I literally don't understand why modern women don't get this concept. If you come to a man with your feelings and your emotions, you don't want the man to blow off your feelings. You want the man to validate them, regardless of how terrible they are, regardless of how silly they sound. I keep on going back to, and I've actually never seen the show, what's with Kevin Costner, I guess is what it is. It's some hit show. I can't remember now. Yellowstone is what it is. And the dynamic between some dude and a woman that she's supposedly got a fiery personality and she talks to this dude crazy, but yet he still loves. Oh, I love a man like that because he just gives her the space to just be who she is. And even though she goes off on him, he always still comes back to her and he just lets her be. Y'all want a man to just let y'all go off, act crazy, talk silly to him, and then say, oh, it's okay, baby. Oh, it's okay. I understand it. I can see if you're going through some stuff, and most men can, because you get in your head and some things have happened and now you're like, man, what do I do? But for you to be up here talking to a man crazy every day, no, I'm not approaching that. I'm not trying to be around that.
Why did I re-download dating apps? It's just because nobody was approaching me in real life. I had no dating app for a week and a half, so I could have kept going. But I was just like, damn. Like, the problem is that people will look at you, but they won't say anything. So it's like, But a pattern I'm noticing on Tinder or any dating app is that it's usually men that just broke up with their girlfriend like 2 days ago. Like, sir. And they will love bomb the shit out of you. Okay? Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I think a man in the comments said it's a whole lot easier to shoot your shot on a dating app than it is in real life. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Well, I mean, honestly, I don't even know anymore. Because modern women, they'll just take your screenshots and they'll post them online. Modern women are so starved for validation and attention nowadays that they'll set up and expose men. Oh, look at what I'm doing on Tinder today. Look, here's another edition of the men in my inbox on Tinder. Knowing good and well, if a man were to expose what she said, if some of these celebrities were to open up their DMs and say, hey, let's read a couple of these. Let's take a call from Jessica in California. She said X, Y, and Z. And my team did some research and Jessica is engaged. How much of this nonsense would stop? I wonder.
I think the men these days are being bred a little bit different. I think they're not as willing to be rejected or take a risk. And so I think that shows up when you're out and about. Like, men aren't really approaching as much as they used to. And I think they're more content kind of staying behind the phone, liking you on an app. I even get like liking my Instagram pictures a lot, or like liking my story. That's not considered making a move. Like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to see you liking my pictures and DM you being like,
ooh.
hi. Yeah. I'm like, at minimum,
They're like
you can like
leading you to like,
right. Like, that's not my job.
Okay, so we talk a lot about how men in many respects are not approaching women. It's driving them nuts too, by the way. They're making video after video, all half naked, being like, I'm out and I put this dress on and no one's coming up to me. I'm done. You know, they're having a meltdown, which I think guys are like, oh, finally, you know, I'm winning. But why do you think they're not approaching women in the same way?
Well, women made a global witch hunt against flirting, and now they're mad that men aren't flirting with them.
That's right. It's kind of like how they felt chivalry.
The whole Me Too movement caused this.
Okay.
That's literally what caused it, especially for the younger guys. Maybe the older gentlemen, like they weren't really affected by it too much. Mm-hmm.
They still approach.
They're still the ones who are single, maybe.
Yes.
Who aren't locked down. But younger guys, like I get these kind of younger guys,
mm-hmm.
like telling me they're terrified mm-hmm. of going up and talking to a woman. I literally made a post on Twitter yesterday. It was about like, what's the worst thing that can happen if you go up and say hi to a girl? You're not going to regret it. And I had like a couple of dudes like slide in the comments and be like, I got accused of by just saying hi to a chick on campus.
Wow.
Like crazy stories. And I'm like, part of me is like, is this really true? But even if it's not true, like they think there's still the mentality.
Well, we can even take it out of dating. We can take this type of stuff out of dating, and we can say modern women think weirdly in general about anything outside of relationships. Like a man trying to help out. I think a woman was talking about how her brother tried to help a woman out. I think she might have fainted or something like that, and she really needed assistance. And he started like rendering, I think, first aid, like CPR or something like that. And when she came to, like she was choking. And when she came to, like I think the next day, she had to fully recover. But when she came to, she went straight to HR. He was getting a call from HR like 2 or 3 days later, talking about she filed an SA claim on you. She said you kissed her or you handled the situation inappropriately. Like what?
Of like, oh, I'm gonna get accused of being a creep or being accused of,
right. It's just
stepping
not
away
worth it.
by just trying to like approach a woman and say hi,
Mm-hmm.
So it's. I feel sorry for all of these younger guys out there who are like.
So what should they do? Because
they still got to do it. They still have to do it. Like you're not going to like.
He said you still have to do it. Some of these men out here would beg to differ. They'd beg to disagree with you. I know they're going to be in the comments disagree. Well, you're just going to have no, I'm not. As a matter of fact, I'm going to the house right now. I'm not doing none of that nonsense. And you're not going to make me
get anywhere by living in fear like that
mm-hmm.
around like a possible. Like,
and then you'll like emit that energy, and it's very unattractive.
Completely,
mm-hmm.
And it's funny what she said about like guys not. Guys like giving likes and then expecting her to like slide in the DMs or responding to a story and stuff like that. Like the responding to the story thing does actually work.
It does.
I'll tell you that right now.
Well, it works for you. I don't know if it would.
True.
It's
true.
I don't know if it would work for everybody, but I tell them actually. I kind of like that a lot of these men have stopped going up to these girls. I'm a big believer in. If you're a man and you get your together and you walk into a room with that energy of having your together and you pay women attention, but it's not doting and it's not love bombing and it's not overly eager, but it's polite and it's interested, but I also have other things going on and come sit with me if you want, but I don't really need you to come sit with me. I'm perfectly content to just sit here and drink my drink by myself. You become a magnet for these women. So I actually tell these guys, like, build yourself up so that you are not chasing women who then are disrespecting you. Because what I hear from them a lot is, I'm not afraid, I just don't like the way I'm treated, and it feels like a game. It feels like I'm going up to someone to give them their ego boost for the day, and then she turns to her friend and goes, ew, or something like that, or nasty, and gets her free drink, and then doesn't give you the time of day. They're not getting anything.
I mean, after you come up and approach these types of women, their evening is effectively over. We can leave right now. We can get out here right now. I am just waiting. I'm just waiting to get back in that car and record a TikTok, record an Instagram reel, record a video for Facebook. I am ready to let this thing go viral. I'm ready to tell all these men approaching me. I still got it. Oh, I'm 45. I just turned 45. I didn't know if I still had it. I still got it. Me and the girls are not on the time. We're going out again. Number one. Number two, the only thing that might make that situation better for them is if a group of guys come up to them, is if they can't even get out the door because man after man after man is approaching them. Oh man, we just had so many men. We couldn't even get out of the door. We had so many men paying for our drinks. Oh wow, I mean, these men, I mean, we didn't like any of them. They were all ugly to us, but yeah, it was, we're gonna have, men are gonna be paying for our night out. We're gonna have to continue doing this.
Out of it. So I want them to be like, I love that the women are going insane now because they walk into these, because it's so many years of just feeling like, well, I'm a hot girl, so I can disrespect men, that they've had that attitude.
It's a bit of a paradox for guys because that scenario you just described, like, it's a paradox because he has to show intent, but he also has to have complete freedom from the outcome.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Which is really hard to get your head around as a guy, like, because most guys are like a lot more logical in their thinking. So,
right.
And that is not a very logical thing.
Right.
The intent of approaching and saying hi and you know, starting a conversation with the freedom of outcome of not wanting anything at all, that's a balancing act. And that's a reason why it's actually rare for guys to be relatively charming.
Right.
Because, like, to be able to sweep a woman off her feet like that, because that is a hard paradox for a guy to represent.
It's a hard energy too to convey because you don't want to look down.
Honestly, I really can't see a whole lot of guys ever getting over this, ever just saying, well, this is just a fact of life. I'm going to end up embarrassed on Instagram. I'm going to end up embarrassed on TikTok. Why would anybody want to get used to that? Why don't I just stay single if that's going to be the case?
So the general consensus from my last video is that women have to look away from men on the street, otherwise it draws too much interest. I was raised by a woman, my mom, who could look at anyone at any time in the street and then get their respect and their love all in one go. Really easy for her. It's absolutely a flawless routine. I see it all the time. And she can be making straight up eye contact with any man who is probably going to be interested. And then if they do get the balls to go and ask her something, she's like, oh, you know, I really appreciate that, but I'm not looking at this time, or something, whatever she says as a reason. And they're just so respectful. They're so appreciative. Right? She doesn't give off the energy that she could be taken advantage of and steamrolled. And that's the problem for the baby girl archetype. So ladies, learn my archetypes. There's the baby girl and the warrioress, primarily for women. Follow along for more health and relationship content.
Well, at that point, you really don't even need any archetypes. You just need to learn to be gracious like your mom did. These men are so respectful. When she says, I'm not really looking for anything right now, they're respectful of that. Which, what a concept. Most men are. Most men are respectful. They would, oh, okay, I appreciate it. Have a good day. Most modern women are not like that. They're egotistical. They're freaking rude. They're rude to the man. And when a man catches an attitude back, they want, oh, he was just so aggressive. I really didn't understand why. Because you were freaking rude. You were rude. Learn how to be a normal person with manners.
If you ever thought that you were never approached by men because they were too scared of you, you actually might have been right. Because I heard that men don't approach women that they're truly, like, seriously interested in if they're not in a position where they can take care of them. Like, they don't have a stable job, they don't have enough money, they don't think that they can take you out on enough dates, they don't think that they can treat you the way that they would want to treat you. So they stay away and they don't try to get with you. Because, like, you ever feel like you know someone likes you, but you're just like, they're not doing anything. And you just know this person likes you, right? But they haven't made any advances. This could be why. No, I'm not trying to feed anyone's delusions, but it's better to be delusional in a good way than a bad way. So the next time that a guy that you like doesn't approach you, doesn't talk to you, doesn't reach out to you first, just think about that.
How about it's better to be not delusional at all? How about it's better to be someone who lives in reality? How about that? Yeah, true. For some men, they want to make sure they have their stuff together before they get with you. The only problem with this is that when a man does get his stuff together, then you, along with your friend, along with your friend's friend, and your rivals across town, all of y'all want him now. So you actually missed your chance to get in on the ground floor of this stock that just took a massive jump. And now I don't have enough money to pay for the stock. Exactly. Because you waited too late. Well, how should I know? Who knows? You could have talked to him. You could have done your research. You could have actually taken an interest to see if y'all were compatible, but you didn't. You decided to wait until his stock price jumped. And now it's too expensive for you to get in. You missed out on this one. Too bad. And that's how 99% of these women out here look. Exactly like this. Unapproachable, RBF. Wonder why men be passing them up. A man try to help you out every so often, he say smile. Y'all get mad at the man.
If you go out and you are receiving non-stop attention, you need to go home and change. You look cheap and you look easy. I'm gonna tell you the most counterintuitive thing you've ever heard. And I know, it makes no sense. But hear me out, hear me out. When you do go out with friends or on dates or whatever the case may be, and barely any men come up to you, few, once in a while, whatever, that's how you know you did it right. You need to look expensive. You need to look like, if you are going to approach me, am I in your price range? Because this hoo-ha ain't cheap. And here's a tip to do it. Pick one asset and show that. So it's either your boobs, your butt, your legs, your back. Show no more than that. Men like a little mystery. If you show everything, what do they need you for? They can see every little curve on your body. They've seen it. What's to do? Pick one body part and accentuate that. So if you go out and you're feeling so good and every man at that bar is hitting on you, girl, go home. Nothing good will come of it. And the men who do hit on you are trash. You look easy as fuck. I know that's harsh, but mommy's here to help you. I love you.
Well, if your chest is out, then, or your behind is out, it really doesn't matter what's out at one. Well, I'm showing you my chest this time, and I'm going to show you my behind this time. I'm going to show you a little leg this time. It doesn't matter. I'm going to show you this time that you're for the streets all the time, and I'm not going to approach you. I'm going to look from afar and say, oh, she looks cool. She looks cute. Oh, man, she's fine. Good looking girl. Beautiful, gorgeous, stunning. And keep on walking. Seems like I'm going to let another man take a turn. I'm not coming over there because I already know what you're up to. I see you're the type to play games, and I'm not about to waste my energy on that. Plain and simple. Number one. Number two, this, whatever you want to call it, cost. Really? So you're selling it. Pass. If I was going to come up to you, after you said that, I'm not coming up to you at all.
Stop telling me to go meet someone in the wild when I go in the wild and someone will be staring at me the whole entire night and won't come say hi. How many more times is that going to happen? How many more times am I going to be in the bar, playing pool, at the coffee shop, on a walk, and I will be staring down another person who is staring me down, smiling across the table, whatever, and you don't come say hi? Oh my gosh. What am I meant to do, you guys? Am I gonna have, we always have to make the first move or something? Because, oh my gosh.
Yes, you are going to have to start making the first move. Unless y'all can get some ideas about how to bring a man over to you, about how to actually attract a man, because y'all won't smile. Y'all not going to smile. Y'all don't think it's important to smile. Unless you can do that, then yes. You're going to have to start being the boss babe and the girl boss that you said you are and taking matters into your own hands.
So first of all, most women will not be upset if you don't approach us. Second of all, if you were actually listening, you would know that approaching isn't necessarily a bad thing. You need to start listening, not just to follow some instruction on how to not be a creep. You need to listen to understand. You need to listen to understand our perspective. That means listening and absorbing content from women discussing our point of view every day. listening openly and humbly to understand our perspective, not to follow some instruction of what you're supposed to do, but to understand how we're feeling.
I guess one of my issues with this statement is that it's all about how you feel. It's always about how the woman feels. It's never about the reality of the situation. It's always about how the woman perceives the situation. Always. And it's not about a misunderstanding. You can't have a misunderstanding or a miscommunication on something. If the woman has a miscommunication on it, then that means he's a creep. Versus, oh, well, I just read that wrong. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Vanessa. He got to be a creep all of a sudden because that's the way you feel.
If you did that, then you would know what to do. I have an entire playlist on how to approach women without being creepy. I have an entire playlist on understanding women's point of view. I have an entire playlist on what creepiness even is so that you can understand it better. What's really cool is if you start to actually understand, then you won't have to memorize any tips. It'll be automatic. It'll be innate because you understand our point of view. When I saw a kid crying at Disney World, I didn't have to have somebody explain to me how to approach a child. I simply thought about what it was like from their point of view and how scary I might be to them. No one ever told me, okay, you need to stay this far apart. You need to get down on one knee and you need to look them in the eyes so that you're on their level. And you need to ask them, can I help you? Is everything okay? No one had to tell me how to do it because I could understand their point of view and have empathy for the position that they were in.
Right. Understandable. But with kids, there's going to be things that they are upset about. And taking into account the situation, if you're at Disney, kid could be scared, kid could be hungry, kid could be confused. If I see what it is, then I know how to attack it. I know what to do. But with modern women, you don't know what state of mind they're in. You don't. They could be presenting as scared. And then when you walk by, hey, my friend wanted to talk to you. The girl over there sitting in the dark. Yeah, she'd been looking at you all night. Really? She looked like she was upset. No, that's how she looks all the time. I wouldn't have even known that because she looked like she was upset. I can't read you. I don't understand what you want. If I see a child crying, then I can readily say, what's wrong? At that point, I can go over there and ask the child, what's wrong? Period. In the story. And the child's going to give me some answers and I can do something with that information. I can act on that information. But with modern women, they don't even talk. They don't say nothing. They just got you guessing over and over again. What man is going to want to deal with that? There's no amount of learning that can take place if a person does not communicate at all.
Listening to women isn't going, okay, fine, I won't approach you anymore, angry lady. It's listening to understand why we're feeling what we're feeling. When you understand our point of view, it's going to get so much easier, but you are going to have to work to understand our point of view. If you are unable or unwilling to actually listen to understand women, then yeah, absolutely. Please don't approach us. You're not the ones we want approaching us.
So there's one thing I'm going to say to you that has made sense in my brain and to the girls that can relate to this is, where are you going? Because if these men feel like they can't attain you, like they can't get to you, they can't afford you, they can't access you, they're never going to approach you ever. Like, you're just out of their league and they won't even try. So you have to go to places like, where are you going? So think about, like, where do you grab your coffee? Where do you go for lunch? Where do you meet your friends? Where do you go at the weekend? Where do you go to the gym? Are these men of your, like, do they have the same energy that you're bringing? Because it's so scary approaching women. Like, I do feel for men. It's very intimidating, and especially a woman that you just are looking at like, I could never, like, she's out of my league, but I would want to.
I think before we get into the places that you're going, because I do think the places that you kind of hang out with, or you kind of hang out, obviously, if you want to meet a nice man, we're not talking about a rich man. We're talking about just a nice man. You wouldn't be hanging around like a place where, you might have gang activity. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be around people who have a mindset that they planning on doing the wrong thing, and a lot of it. It's not going to be a mistake. They're there to make a whole bunch of noise, a whole bunch of drama, a whole bunch of nonsense happen. Okay, once we got it, but there's plenty of places, literally normal places that you go, you're not going to have that problem. The main thing, once again, is how are you showing up in those situations? Well, I go to church and I see this. How are you showing up in that situation? Modern women, they'll be over here laughing and smiling and talking to a woman on their left, but then they look to a man on their right. Oh, how's it going? You're over here smiling and happy with this woman over here, showing her a great courtesy. What's going on? So your attitude, even though you might not mean to do that, you don't have the same joy and happiness that you would. Why didn't he approach me? Because it didn't seem like you really were that into me.
He probably, like, most men are looking at you like, oh boy, he's like, but, and if you want these men to approach, if you are going to the right places, maybe it's an energy thing on your part where you just maybe need to be a little, like, less cold, because when you're like feminine, like that energy is so attractive. It's loose and it's like happy and it's free, and it's just very like, even women, I always notice women, they're very like straight faced, but they're at the bar with their drink, they're very serious and they're looking around at like who's looking at them. They're the ones that are always watching me. I'm telling you, like them, you pique the interest of everyone when you have this flowy feminine energy. I mean, like, everyone's looking at you because they're like, what has she got? Like, what is it? No one can put their finger on it, but it's your energy. But if you're coming across as intimidating, that's probably maybe a little bit too, I don't want to say masculine, but like cold. I've been called cold before. So where are you going? So maybe like it's where you're going, like the men just can't access you. They realise you're out of their league and they just don't even want to try. Or maybe like look towards like your energy if it's a little bit too on the masculine side, like too strong and not enough like looseness. Do you know what I mean? But there are places now I would never go. Like last time I went to a club was maybe a little less than a year ago, and even the bouncers were looking at me like, what are you doing here? Like, what are you here for? Why are you here? And the men in the club, like, it's like, everyone just, like, no one comes near me. I'm like, radioactive, like, no one wants to know. But the places where I will get more approached is, like, the races. Everyone's dressed up and everyone kind of looks like they're on the same wavelength. Expensive bars, expensive, like, places. The supermarket, apparently.
You got to understand that, once again, men understand boundaries. They understand boundaries. They understand law, order, structure. They set up the system. If y'all want to really go, oh, who set that system up? Structure, law, order. We understand discipline. And when a man gets outside of that line, we have strategies to handle that, right? Law enforcement, street enforcement. There's things that you can do, right? That same courtesy, whether y'all think it is or not, is extended to women. But y'all's attitude, you can't understand the distinction. You can't understand, like, say for instance, men operate, like I said, with boundaries, okay? If you tell me, hey, this is what I want you to approach me like this, man's gonna follow it. All right. So I approach like this in every single situation because this is what the boundary is. This is what the rule is. This is what the law is. All right. And then you say, here's another rule. Let me have you learn it. A man can probably follow 10, a pretty good amount of rules. They're still human, so they can pretty much follow that. Right. So if you put up a boundary and you say, hey, this is my boundary. Oh, shoot. All right, my bad. A man's going to back off. But then you're going to wonder why. Well, why isn't he approaching? Because you put up a boundary. Nothing in what you said invited him. Okay, here's the rule for this over here. But over here, you have a little bit more flexibility. You told him none of the sort. When you're playing basketball, hey, bro, leave the ball on the floor. You can't pick it up and carry it to the rim. Okay, cool. But if you're sitting up here talking to him about, oh, well, you can't pick up the ball. Okay, cool. Well, you can't dribble the ball. Okay, all right. How am I supposed to get the basket? Hey, if you were to put the ball on the ground, dribble it, you only have one dribble. Okay. Hey, and when you shoot, you have to shoot from this distance. Okay. And when you shoot like this, you have to have this certain form. At some point in time, you're going to keep on going with these rules, and a man's going to be like, I don't even want to play this game. There's too many rules. This is silly. And he's going to back off. And this is the same idea with approaching women. Y'all come up with too many rules. Y'all have too much stuff going on, and a man just decides instead of playing all these games and just understand the essence. Like the lady was saying in the last video, well, just understand the essence and you'll never go wrong. No, I'm not understanding anything. You either communicate effectively, or I go sit my behind down and leave all y'all alone and be in peace.
All right, so I got some tequila in my system, and I want to let you know why guys may not approach you. Not necessarily me, but just guys in general. One, he may not just generally find you attractive. You may be pretty, but he might not find you to be his type. Two, a guy can smell his red flags. You may not be everybody's red flag, but a guy can smell his red flags. He may see you, know you're his type, and realize, I'm not going down this lane again. Third, proximity. A lot of times, if it takes me walking across the room through 5, 15, 20 groups of crowds, I may not want to do it. I'll just be like, you know what? Next lifetime. 4, your group of friends. I've seen plenty of times where I find a woman that I think is absolutely attractive, and I see her group of friends, and I say, there's no possible way she hangs out with them. If you look like you cost money, a man will window shop. If you look like you are a value, a man will purposely make an investment.
Once again, men have certain checkpoints that they go through in order to see if they want to talk to a woman. He just listed off, 5 or 6 of them? It's different for modern women because they have sometimes 50, and they think that's okay. A woman can keep up more easily with the way things are going today. They can more easily keep up with what a man likes versus a man keeping up with what they like. It's harder for a man, and this is why a lot of men don't approach. It's harder for me to understand and figure out what you actually want. I say, here's 2 or 3 things that I got to have. Other than that, let's get together and see if it works out. But a man can literally pick up the phone and just be going down the list. It'd take that man a day or 2 to go down the list and work out what it is that you're actually looking for in a man. At that point, if I got to do too much math, that's not really a vibe. At that point, it's kind of a buzzkill, because I don't know you. I can't learn you. There's too many rules. You're already sticking me in a box. That's what women don't understand. You've already put a man in the box even before he said hello. Even before he approached you, you've already put him in. Oh, he's in a category over here. And there's no way that he can get out of it. There's no way that he can maneuver. If he goes out of it, if he does, I'm not going to be doing that. Now, a woman, like she's talked about in the last clip, that's more free flowing and her feminine, or however you want to call it. She's more pleasant. He might spill a drink. Oh, what are you doing? Go ahead. Surfer, come clean this up. That's not an ick to her. That might be funny to her. So he's in the box, but he can make a mistake now. Or he might say something wrong. He might say a joke, and she might say, hey, watch it now. Instead of, oh, that gave me the ick, get out of here. You give him a little space. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm feeling myself into it. Yeah, you better watch it, buddy. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. And he comes back and he corrects it. It's fun. It's playful. It's loose. He's learning you. He knows what you're doing. Over time, he says, hey, she don't like that. Or, hey, based on her personality, based on what she's got going on, she likes this or she doesn't like this. But y'all, when y'all be putting down them lists up front, and a man says, God dog, I can't do anything. I gave her what my type is, and she can pretty much vibe within that. And if she's not within that, within 30 seconds, she can make a decision on whether she's for me and I'm for her or not, and move on. But for me, I got to freaking study. for 2 months to pass a freaking bar exam to see just to see if I need to send a text message to her. Really? No.